Well, I think people so focused on, I want to make my life as smooth sailing as possible. That's never going to happen. No matter how much you try to control every variable in your life, it won't. But if you can just change your mindset to not think of adversity as a problem or as a negative thing, and to think of it as something that is helping you. Have you ever felt powerless? Do you have a hard time bouncing back from struggles? You must face adversity to become strong. Because let's face it, we're all going to have setbacks and difficult situations. In this episode, you will learn how to approach those situations with a strong mind. Adversity is such a great thing to have throughout your life. Having difficulties throughout life, and that when you have them, understand that they help build your mental resilience. There was a study done where they looked at young people, youth, and they did a comparison between youth raised in inner cities, inside the city, which is typically rougher, versus a suburban area, youths that grew up in a suburban environment where it's super safe, parents really take care of the students, it's a much more coddled environment, protected environment. And what they found when they compared these two groups, that the children that were raised, the youths that were raised in an inner city environment actually ended up doing better later on in life. They had better resilience when they were faced with adversity. They actually were more successful in overcoming obstacles in their lives. Whereas this other group struggled quite a bit because they had less adversity. And so when you're facing something, find solace in that this is actually making you a better problem solver, number one, because when you're dealing with different problems, you become more efficient. You become almost like a little bit of a chess player and being, okay, I see this, let me see how I'm going to maneuver it. And you learn to withstand things when things happen. They're not all soul crushing.
Which normally then when something is soul crushing, it stops you from doing it again, progressing, trying again.
Well, I think people so focused on, I want to make my life as smooth sailing as possible. That's never going to happen. No matter how much you try to control every variable in your life, it won't. But if you can just change your mindset to not think of adversity as a problem or as a negative thing, and to think of it as something that is helping you. And the example you gave about working out is exactly that. If there's no resistance, it's not going to come back bigger, better, and stronger.
Wow, I love that. When you first started joining the training, that was so freaking intense. You must have been exhausted, to the point where you couldn't even open your eyes by the end of the day. Are there moments where you literally are being physically and mentally pushed to your freaking limits on a daily basis? So at the end of those, how many people quit? I'm sure a lot.
A lot quit.
How did you not quit, Evie? How did you have that mental resilience in that moment where you're like, this resistance is going to make me stronger?
I think perhaps maybe I grew up with a lot of struggles, immigrant family, poor neighborhood. We lived in poor economic environment, government housing. My father, though, was quite resilient and very much a fighter and a pushback. He never let me moan. And maybe that was it. My parents actually did not entertain it growing up. So I can't really say the Secret Service did this to me. My family there was no room for it. They also didn't grow up like that, because if they did, they'd starve. They would have never survived. You make things happen. You have a problem, find a solution.
What if doing well in school and in life depends on much more than your ability to learn quickly and easily? I started studying kids and adults in all kinds of super challenging settings. And in every study, my question was, who is successful here and why? My research team and I went to West Point Military Academy. We tried to predict which cadets would stay in military training and which would drop out. We partnered with private companies asking which of these salespeople is going to keep their jobs and who's going to earn the most money. In all those very different contexts, one characteristic emerged as a significant predictor of success. And it wasn't social intelligence, it wasn't good looks, and it wasn't IQ. It was grit. Grit is passion and perseverance for very long-term goals. Grit is having stamina. Grit is sticking with your future, day in, day out, not just for the week, not just for the month, but for years. And we have to be willing to fail, to be wrong, to start over again with lessons learned.
The prime factor, I think, or the foundation to mental resilience is adversity. And I'm probably going, it's counterintuitive probably because most people don't want adversity. They fight adversity. When they have adversity, they feel, why is this happening? I don't want this in my life. I want everything to go very smoothly and I don't want to have any issues. However, adversity tends to be one of the foundations to creating mental resilience. When you face adversity over a consistent period of time, you know how to manage it, how to withstand it. It makes you stronger, it makes you more resilient. So adversity is actually one of those wonderful things.